Hello everyone, welcome to this crypto flash. For almost 7 months, as you know, Bitcoin has been stuck in a frustrating range. Meanwhile, one sector has experienced a near bear market, with leaders losing 75 to 80%. I'm talking about the DeFi sector and infrastructure blockchains. I think this sector is completely overlooked, but there's enormous value and potential for performance to be found in this bull market. Let's do a quick update, as there's a lot of building and huge developments on these blockchains. We'll review the current levels, which are really at rock bottom. Could we go lower? Honestly, it's possible in the short term. However, in 3, 6 or 12 months, there's potential for excellent performance. We've got tokens moving into AI, Tao and others, but this sector is currently totally neglected. Personally, these are the times I like to dig into these topics. And finally, Bitcoin's creator Satoshi Nakamoto might be unmasked. They've allegedly identified Peter Todd, a former developer, as Satoshi. It's a report I haven't seen yet, but I'll definitely check it out. I think it'll be interesting, and it's putting a spotlight on Bitcoin. Right now, retail investors and the public are absent like never before. I think there were more people involved back in October 2020. There was already buzz then, but now it feels like nobody's around. If you look at Google Trends, Bitcoin searches are nearly at an all-time low. It's almost exactly the same as in October 2020. That's also a bullish signal for the future. However, if you search for Satoshi Nakamoto, you'll see a spike almost reaching March 2022 levels. We're seeing nearly historic highs. It's booming, which isn't a bad thing. Interestingly, in the latest ICOs, airdrops and gun layers, it's rebounding. I thought it would crash like everything else. I noticed that unlike other projects worth 8-10 billion, Starknet isn't even at 1 billion. Perhaps it has more potential for performance gains. I've observed that for 12 months, all ICO airdrops drop and slowly decline. Some tokens are still falling. Starknet comes to mind, but I'd advise staying away from such projects. However, Gunlayer seems to be bouncing back, which isn't bad given the current uncertain climate. XMR is still around, which is good to see. They've been delisted repeatedly, but they always bounce back. It's great for this type of project. As for Bitcoin, the trading volumes are quite low at the moment. There's a slight dip, but volumes should pick up tomorrow after 2:30 p.m. What's interesting about Bitcoin is that on the 4-hour chart, we've bounced off the 200 MA and remain well above it. The difference is we bounced here when we were below all moving averages. I like seeing moving averages below the price, and now the 50 MA is catching up. I hope it continues. Do this, the 200-day moving average, and gradually we need to stay above the moving averages, at least on the 4-hour chart. Short term, that's what I'm watching more than daily. Now a second moving average is forming, it must hold. This is my key short-term indicator. We must stay above this trend to slowly recover. Remember, we made a much higher high than before. If we dip, we can't go below these 60,000 levels. So tomorrow we'll see if we hold. And Tao's performance is fantastic. It exploded well. I'm also in 4-hour, which is great. It compresses each time, which is excellent. Even RSI-wise, it's not overbought at all. It's on a very healthy rise. Explosion digestion. It might dip a bit more, which is normal. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we'd love to see this on Bitcoin. 50, 100, 200 MAs, perfectly aligned. It's on a roll, constantly bouncing off the purple line. What would be great is if it bounces in the 575 zone. Now about Hamster Combat, I'm watching it because they're trying to sell a V2 with real airdrops and quite a few features. For me, it's a total failure. What we need to watch is how it'll crash. If it hits 0.001, I think we should let it fall, but at some point I might invest a bit. They might try to hype something up and it could explode given the massive trading volumes on Hamster Combat. Many are selling off their tokens, but on the flip side, there are buyers. With such volumes, I think there might be whales accumulating, especially these past few days. We should wait. I think it could drop below 100 million market cap, which would be deserved. Next, let's discuss 2 major projects I haven't mentioned in a while. I'll talk about Ankr, which is number 1 for me. It's worth 240 million, down from the previous market-wise. We were a bit above that, but we were at very low levels. We had achieved simply magnificent performances. 0.0015, when you rise to 15 cents, you've got it, that's a 100x. Will it do 100x again? I think it's not even impossible because it's worth 240 million. Rising to 24 billion seems very ambitious in the current gloomy context, but to me, it's not impossible at all. We'd really need a craze, maybe Grayscale launching a product on infrastructure blockchains. We'd need that kind of dynamic, which has been really positive. You'll notice with SUI, Teot and others, it had already started to explode, but then it got a second wind. Maybe it would be news like that, but just making them do a 10x, surpassing the old 88, I think that's totally doable. So ink up those predictions. A huge blockchain, they work with Microsoft. They're sold on Microsoft Azure, so it's quite significant. They also work with Tencent in China, which is a massive operator, and they work with all blockchains too. Here are all the blockchains. They provide infrastructure and services for around blockchain technology. There's still hope though. We had a great look at a kind of session on resistance, range explosion and pullback. It's a bit stagnant now, but for me it has all the pullback characteristics. I think it's a good time to consider it, especially when you see it's cheaper than a year ago. That's huge to me and an opportunity. It's down 70%, which is honestly a nice market correction since March. Just imagine, not even since March, but since April. Flow is number 2 overall and also number 2 in terms of market cap at 181, 214 million. Regarding tokenomics, while not 100%, 85% of Flux tokens are out there. To me, that's practically 100%. It's worth 214, same as before. Last bull run, it went from 3 cents to about $3. That's a 100x gain. I see even more long-term potential in the infrastructure, but in this bull market, a 10x gain, easily surpassing its 88th, is likely. Flux is differentiating itself. It's another major infrastructure blockchain. It's really substantial, a direct competitor to Hank. When asked to choose, I buy both in multiple portfolios. That's my approach. These are projects I'll keep accumulating as I can, even if this lasts 2 more years. I think there are still great opportunities before the market starts to pump. And right now, at least today, these projects are my top priority. They launched Flux AI, which is pretty good. It's an image and video generator. You can try it out by searching for Flux AI. Personally, I don't use AI at all in my videos for things like questions because eventually there might be copyright issues related to AI use. But in any case, I find the quality to be absolutely mind-blowing. So Flux is moving, and performance-wise, I think it's worse than Ankr. It's down about 80%, but since July 6th, there's been a big break. It seems to have stopped falling. It might go lower, which is still possible, but I think it's just at an incredibly high price right now. Just with this new offer, it attracts the public. As soon as you add AI and image generators, people get excited. And so it can bring about a new dynamic. I still believe both tokens could see 10x growth. I wouldn't be surprised if these tokens did at least 10x, then we'll see further goals and discuss sell points. I don't think I'd sell any Flux until we're close to the all-time high. It sounds ambitious, but let's say around $2 could be the first profit-taking zones, and then higher. For Ankr, now at 2 cents, I'm not even considering selling. I won't even think about selling until it reaches 10 cents. That's right, around 10 cents. As with buying, we'll sell in stages. Around 10 cents, I think it'll be wise to take profits. If it explodes quickly and strongly, it'll just change my Ankr selling rate. Am I selling 20, 30 or 40%? It'll probably be in that range. If I gain quickly, being opportunistic is key. That's bull market management. Because often when you have a token that rapidly gains, say, 50% in 2 days or 100% in a few days, it often consolidates a bit after, so it's usually a good time, but I won't sell at a discount. These tokens I've had both since 2022, started accumulating them, and they're among the first I bought. Even before summer, I've waited 2.5 years. I believe in these projects, need to recoup the investment. I've studied many projects for almost 3 years now, as I often share with you. It's crucial that this time investment pays off, simply put. So it's not an option to sell on a whim, even at 5 cents. That doesn't interest me. I'm not here for small pump and dumps. For many tokens, we'll set high goals. If we miss them, we'll adjust. But I think my selling triggers are to sell tokens at peak prices to profit. We hope you enjoyed this quick update. Like and subscribe if you did. It helps a lot. Bye everyone.